Good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock on Monday, and I promised last week when I left that I'd be here this week. Here I am. Well, here I am at home. I hope you like my drapes. Anyway, a couple of things right off the bat I want to address. I want to first of all thank all of us to take a moment in our day-to-day to thank those who are on the front lines. The healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, hospital and clinic staffs who are truly there putting their lives on the line, first responders, EMTs, police and firemen, fire personnel. Let's honor them by abiding by the precautionary measures that the state and federal government has put in place. They are at risk, and I certainly don't want to be the one to put them at greater risk by getting sick myself and needing their help. So again, thank you to all of our first responders and healthcare personnel who are working and are at significant risk throughout this ordeal. I also want to say a special thanks to Eric Graham, our other deal doctor, who spent his entire weekend sorting through the CARES Act to help establish a platform for all of you to apply for unemployment. He's still working on that. We're trying to identify what employment numbers, whether you're going to need an employer identification number or a taxpayer ID number, exactly what name has to be under, and so on. So bear with us. We're working as fast as we can to get you those kinds of answers. Thank you to Greg and Paul Carlson, who had Miller Johnson on a conference call over the weekend, an employment expert attorney firm, to help walk us through this CARES Act and how it's going to impact our agents and how you're going to be able to file for unemployment, what the requirements are, and how it's going to be done. We're putting that platform together for you. Bear with us. We're working as fast as we can to get it for you. I want to say thanks to Kim Anderson, who every day, if you've noticed, has been posting on tips on what you can do to stay positive, stay focused, and sell homes within the boundaries of the law. She's been doing a fabulous job on that, so thank you, Kim. As of right now, I'm going to come back to the words as of right now. We are under two laws, a federal law which limits gathering and encourages social distancing, closes the borders and various other things. But we're also under a stricter state law, which is the stay-at-home order. We just learned last night that the federal law for the gatherings and guidelines has been extended to April 30th. We don't know, even though I watched Governor Whitmer this morning, she has not at this point extended the stay-at-home law, the stay-at-home order. So we're actually subject to two laws, the federal and the state, and we have to abide by them both. There has also been a CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agent, Department of Homeland Security, indicated that real estate is an essential business, or classified it as an essential business. However, the state of Michigan has not changed their position. So as of right now, we are still under the state of Michigan's interpretation that real estate is not an essential business. We have to stay there until advised otherwise. So it's not included. The CISA ruling is not included in the Michigan executive order. We are still under the interpretation that we are not an essential industry. Therefore, that means no showings, no open houses, no putting a lockbox or a sign on a property. if you're driving down the road and somehow a sign flies magically out of your trunk, flies up in the air and sticks a 10-point landing right in a yard, you better be able to explain that one to the police when they roll up, because you'll probably be getting a ticket for it. We discourage agents to try workarounds for the law. We've had numerous situations, a lot of calls about, can I do a showing in a vacant house? No. Can I let an agent go in and show my vacant listing? No. Greg's been really, really clear in his policy. And if you have any lack of clarity, please go back and read it. I think it's been sent out like 3 or 4 times now, posted on Facebook and so on. But let's try to avoid workarounds. They're there for a reason. People's lives are at risk. This is a real situation. The president has estimated that it could cost 100,000 Americans their lives. One of his doctors, Dr. Birx, has said if we do everything perfectly, it's going to be 220,000 lives. And Dr. Fauci has said there's going to be 1.6 to 2.2 million. Those are some huge numbers, even if you take the lowest one. And as I said, personally, I don't want to be that person who causes someone else their life because I disobeyed these federal and state requirements. Now, question came up: can we secure a property? So let's say that somebody's out of state. The owner has left the state of Michigan and left you in charge of the safety and security of the property. Well, first of all, even if this order wasn't in place, I would have some serious concerns about putting yourself and the company in that kind of liability. Unless we are property managers under a contract with stipulations for what happens, and we have insurance and all of that, that's putting us, that is out of the scope of our business. We're not hired to be the caretakers of properties. We are here to promote and sell real estate. So if you're in a situation where someone has left you in the position of being a caretaker to a property, or assumes that you are taking care of their property because you have it listed, you better get first of all, I would recommend that you get a family member, a friend, somebody else, their lawyer, accountant, anyone else, to be the caretaker of their property. That's not our jobs. If there is no other alternative, they better provide you with a letter that you can show to a police officer should you be in the property, and under your belief that you're supposed to be securing the property and therefore exempt. You might have to explain that to a judge. You might have to explain it to a law enforcement officer. So I caution you in going down that road. See if you can get somebody else to take on that responsibility. That was loud. So a few quick questions. Can I put a sign in the yard? No. Can I put a key box on the yard, or take it, or on a doorknob, or take it off? No. May I give buyers a code to a vacant house? No. May I list a house? Yes, you may. How do I list a house? You can list a house electronically. You can share documents for electronic signatures through dotloop or email. Some people have forgotten that we actually used to send stuff out email before we got dotloop. So you can attach documents to your email, send them to your seller. They can sign them, scan them, and send them back via email. And guess what? Even more old school, postal mail. You can fill out all the documents, print them, and then send them via postal mail along with a self-addressed stamped envelope to send back to you. And now you've got a listing. Don't forget the old school stuff. Sometimes it works. Then the seller takes the pictures, goes through the house, takes all the pictures, and emails them to you, or they can scan them and edit them to you, or put them in the mail to you, and you can be the one to go and scan them and put them into photo files and upload them, or create a video file, a slideshow, whatever marketing material you can create out of those photos. I can tell you this, they're selling houses right now. People are selling houses, and they're doing it electronically. They're doing it from their recliners and couches. So it can be done. It's happening. When you take a listing in this environment, I would encourage you to include language that says seller requests no showings or offers until the first full day after the Michigan stay-at-home order has been lifted. I'll say that again as best I can. These are notes. Seller requests no showings and will review no offers until after the first full day the Michigan stay-at-home order has been lifted. You can list a property that way. Get it on the books. And then, of course, the very first day after the ban has been lifted, run out there, put a sign, key box on there, and rock and roll. Let's try to avoid getting into the weeds. I'll use that phrase. With when we see other agents who are disregarding the stay-at-home ban. If you want to take your time and report it, that's up to you. But if you're sending it to us, it takes up a lot of the time that we need to be helping you with the things like unemployment applications. So focus on the positive things that you can do moving forward. And speaking of the unemployment, the CARES Act, Paul and Greg have scheduled a live stream on Wednesday. Mark the date, save the date. On Wednesday at 1:00, there is going to be Miller Johnson, the folks, the employment specialists, attorneys are going to be online sharing all of the information that you need regarding the CARES Act and how you can apply for unemployment. So you're going to need things like as I said, your EIN or taxpayer number. You're going to need to understand what the name of your business is when they're asking for it. And you're going to need the tax information, your income information from February 1, I believe it was February 1, 2019 to January 30th, 2020, the last full year. The date of the pandemic or the date of the disaster was noted as officially as the 30th or 31st of January. So you need the whole year's income prior to that date. And Jeff Bender and Justin Rader are working on that now to provide to all of you agents out there who are going to need it. So again, we're running full tilt here to try to get you answers as quickly as we can. Let's talk about buying a house, helping your buyer buy a house. Well, if you can't show it to them and the seller can't show it to them or won't show it to them, well, what are you going to do? We recommend that you put in a phrase that this offer is subject to the lifting of the stay-at-home or Michigan stay-at-home order, and that all timelines indicated in the purchase agreement shall commence on the first full day after the ban has been lifted. So if the ban ends on the 13th, as it does now, that may change. That on the first full day after, April 14th, that all of the deadlines indicated in those purchase agreements that you write between now and then, they kick in and the meter starts running. The clock starts ticking. So that would be the first full day, for example, for the 10-day inspection window. It would be the first full day of the 10 days to get title work delivered to the buyer. Same thing with ordering well and septic inspection. So that one phrase alone would help buyers buy a house or make an offer sight unseen, contingent upon their personal tour of the property after the ban has been lifted. Hopefully we're not having a little glitch going on here, but anyway, I'm going to turn to my Google Drive here and see if we have any questions. We got Melinda. Let's see if I can pull that up so I can read it. Oh, no, it's Diana. Yeah, Diana Eckert says, you might say this is dumb, but I've been holding off on snail mail because I heard the virus lives 24 hours on cardboard. Leave it up to people to exercise their judgment and care on the receipt of the item. I'm still getting it mailed home, and I exercise precautions. That's a good point, Diana. I've heard the same thing. I've heard that when you buy cereal at the grocery store, for example, it's a good idea to take it home, take it out of the box, throw the box away, wash your hands, and save the inner liner with the cereal in it. If the virus lives 24 hours on cardboard, I don't know how many of my postal mail things have been delivered within 24 hours. I think if you're going to do that, if you're going to go through that process and you're worried about the time frame of the virus living on the cardboard, by all means, leave it in your trunk overnight before you send it. If we're doing snail mail, it's not generally going to be time sensitive. So I would say exercise your judgment. If you get a packet that you think has listing documents signed inside and you leave it in your car overnight, it's probably not a bad plan. Again, exercise precaution. Did I see? I thought I saw one from Melinda, maybe not. Yes, I did. Wait a minute, where did the one from Melinda go? Stay with me. I'll be right back. Hang on, I want to see what Melinda's comment was. You can you can repost that so I can pull it up and take a look at it. Hang on. I got two computers running here, so forgive me for a moment. Sue Prin says, ultraviolet light kills germs if you own one. Thank you, Sue. That's good to know. Yes, Leo, you actually over there. Yes, you can see my books on the shelf. Thanks. I don't know, Melinda, which one it was. I thought you had made one based on my. Oh, wait a minute. I have a closing coming up and I need to get the lockbox off. Just wait until the order is removed. The answer is yes. Wait until the order is removed. That's real simple. Thank you. Appreciate you hanging in there. Some good comments. What I'd like to hear from you and share with others, if you have sold a house or helped a buyer buy a house electronically over the last week that we've been under this order, share with the group. Tell us what you did, how you did it, so that others can learn from it and go out and stay positive and stay focused. I will repeat, this is a great time to send out mailings, even if you have to leave them in your truck overnight before you deliver them. But if you send out mailings or you make phone calls, make sure your database is up to date. It's a great time to do a lot of the things that we as real estate agents, we just never seem to get around to. Well, now we have an opportunity to get around to it. So I hope that you will do those things and stay positive. Read Kim's suggestions. Tune in on Wednesday. You're going to get a lot of information from Paul and Greg's conversation with the employment attorneys. As I said, Eric and we are working on this platform to help you, this sort of checklist, if you will, to help you file. The bookkeeping folks are working on getting the numbers that your revenue numbers that you'll need. We are all trying really, really hard to get you the right answers as quickly as we possibly can. If you don't have any other questions at this point, I have a closing. Audrey Reinberg just posted one. Says, I have a closing on the 1st of April. How are we doing walkthroughs before closing? My seller has 30 days possession. Well, that's interesting because according to the law, it is my understanding that we can't do walkthroughs, that walkthroughs are not allowed. We can't participate in them. We can't arrange for them. Now, if the title company or the mortgage company requires that be done, then they probably should be the ones to give that order because they are considered essential services. So that would be my recommendation. My concern, though, is that your seller has 30 days possession. What difference does it make to do a walkthrough? And this has always been my question, even before this situation. What good does it do for a buyer to do a walkthrough when the seller is going to still be there for 30 days? I've never quite understood that, but I guess that's a different topic altogether. But as far as walkthroughs before closing, we as real estate agents cannot be involved with them, set them up, facilitate them in any way. Okay, so we're at 25 minutes into this. I hope we have helped you at least get some answers and know that we are continuing to work very, very hard to get the unemployment information to you as quickly as possible, as well as other aspects of the CARES law that has been enacted that Eric has been working so hard to get all of this information out to you. It's going to take some time here, but hang with us. We're going to hang with you and make sure that we take care of you as best we can. I'll see you next week. Thanks for joining.